Okay, so I'm gonna try and show you how to do an arachnid, like a spider, scorpion walk cycle. And yeah, the walk cycle for a spider and also an insect is very similar. Just to show you now, I think spiders have different gaits, so they don't always walk in exactly the same way, but this is a fairly typical spider walk. I'm going to show you on this this one here of a tarantula, so you can see it. I think you can see it quite easily. So if I play this, what you can see if you look closely, I'm just going to stop it, and you'll see that the back leg and not this leg, the leg after it, they kind of move in sync together. Like I'm going to go it frame by frame. Look, you see that? See, they actually move in sync. And then this leg here and the front leg do the same thing. They move in sync. Watch this. See, they're both moving together. You see? Yeah. Yeah. So these two legs move in sync. So if this is leg number 1, 2, 3, and 4, then you've got 1 and 3 moving together, and 2 and 4. And on the opposite side, then those legs, a bit like a walk for a biped, would be each opposing leg will be half a cycle behind the leg in the opposite side. So yeah, this is so just watching this, you can see the way it walks. It's quite almost looks like a wind-up toy. That's a tarantula. We have a black widow, so I'm going to close this down. I've got a black widow here, or it looks more like a kind of black widow spider. And I have a look at this. So here, let's see this. Now here again, we can see the similar thing, but it's a bit more blurred when it moves. I think it moves faster. Yeah, we have the back leg. Let's go back a bit. So we have these two legs kind of moving together. What I'm going to do anyway is it's a bit blurry to see this. I'm going to take this notion of, if I was to look at this leg and this leg, 1 and 3, they move together. These two move together, and then these would all be half a cycle behind. Now, if you were to animate an insect, it's essentially the same as animating an arachnid. That is a four-legged creature, but minus either the 2 back legs or the 2 front legs. It's just got 6 legs. So in the case of an insect, you would have this leg. Sorry, we'll take it from the front. This leg and this leg moving together, and this leg half a cycle behind. Okay, so I'm just going to use this. I'm going to try and get the timing of this. Let's have a quick look at the where is it? It's the movie inspector. Where if I find it? Help. Oh, I always forget what this is. Is it window movie inspector? Okay, I'm just going to find out what this. Okay, so this is playing at 30 frames a second. So I've got mine set at 24. If I want to get, I'll set it at 30, so it's playing at the same speed. Okay, so that's the first thing I'll do. So 30 frames. So it's playing the same speed as this. Now I'm going to have a look at this. I'm just going to see how long it takes for one of these legs to do a full cycle. So to come from the start to the end again. Okay, so let's just go through this. Okay, so I think that's contact position there. So if this is frame 1, yeah, maybe that's contact position. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I can see 13 is the point it kind of comes off the ground. It's on the ground till about 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Maybe say about 17. It's hard to see because it's a bit blurry. I'll just go for 17. I'll go for 17. So I'll go for 17. So 1, 7. and I've said it's kind of, it moves, so it's moving back, and I'll start with the front legs. I'll show you how I do it. So I start with frame 1. Make sure I'll start from frame 1, and I'm just going to start. So frame 1, let's see, how far out is this? I'm going to go back a bit. So it's kind of quite far, isn't it? It looks out like that. Go back a bit, it's like there. So I'm going to pull this forward, like so. One very important thing also with spiders is always get the initial stance right. Some people tend to put you want the legs kind of quite arched, quite high up. It gives that spidery look. You don't want them too low down. Okay, so we'll start. This is number 1, and it's going to be the same again in 17. And then I said I thought 13 was the bit. Maybe it's 12 or 13. I'll try it. And so it comes back. I'm going to change this from object to world because I just want to push this back in one plane. I want to push it back in the Z. So I'm going to push this back. So let's see, how bent is it? Let's have a look and see how bent it is. I'm going to see how bent this leg looks. It's quite bent, isn't it? It's like there, boom, yeah. So it kind of comes back quite a bit. Yeah, I'll try this. Yeah, I might have to change this. And I'm going to have this. So I have that there like that. 1 second. Oops, what's going on? So I have that there. 12. And I'm going to take this thing here and have it more, maybe a bit over like that. Maybe a bit like this. Okay, so let's see. What does that look like? So we've got that to that. Okay. And then it comes off the ground at after 12. And let's see, so after 12 it's off the ground. And say the midpoint maybe is like 15. I may have it up in the air like this. Maybe a bit like that. So you have this kind of, you want that sharp kind of put down. Yeah, so something like that. And also, of course, it needs to be on the ground. So I'm just going to make sure it's on the ground until 12. Yeah, so we've got something like this. So we've got back there. So something like that. It might be a little bit too fast. I can always slow it down afterwards. So we've got this kind of motion, okay? Okay. Yeah. I wonder will I take it? Yeah, okay, let's try it. We'll try this anyway. So look at this again. Okay, so we've got this. Right, then if I think this is working, what I can do is I'm going to paste the animation of this animation here. I'm just going to loop it first. I'm going to go curves, post infinity cycle, view infinity so I can see it, and I'll go curves, pre-infinity cycle, and I'm going to paste it onto this foot here because these two are working together. So I grab hold of this. I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it on this like so. Okay, and curves post infinity cycle, curves pre-infinity cycle. Yeah. Now, yeah, if you have your thing like this, you can press in these buttons for this. But because I'm trying to show it with this in shot, so here we go. So we've got that. Yeah. And right. Okay. So then these feet are going to be half a cycle behind. So half a cycle, if it is 17, this is why it's always good to use odd numbers, because you have a midpoint. The half cycle is going to be 9. So 9 is the midpoint here. between, so 9 is the midpoint. So I can take this and I can go to this one now, and at 9 I'm going to paste this, and I'll make sure it's still looping. Actually I can make it bigger, so I've got the I'll loop it this way as well. So then we've got this. Yeah, that looks a bit weird. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this foot. This is also going to be at 9. Yeah, and I'm also going to loop it. So then we've got this. Yeah. Now I want the kind of let's have a look at the. So always use your reference. It's a little bit strange to see this. So let's have a look at this. So the legs are. Okay, up and down. Yep, cool. Okay, so I'm going to straighten these up a little bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this and I'm just going to move this up in the Z slightly, so I can select all my curves that I have, and I can just. I'm just going to take the Z, just the Z curve, and I'm going to move this forward a little bit, just so those 2 feet aren't quite so close together. So I'm just moving up the Z curve. And this one here, I might move in the X slightly this way. I'm going to pull that down. So I'm just able to do that. And this, I'll do the same thing. I'm going to take the X, my X curve, I'm just going to pull it in a little bit so it's a little bit more like that, so it's more like this, yeah? That looks a bit better, okay. Got that kind of clickety-click kind of movement that spiders have. I might slow this down a little bit. I'm just trying to think. If I pull this another 2 frames, I could pull this to 19 just to ease it out a little bit more. See what this looks like. I'm going to go to 19. This feels a little bit fast, so I'm just going to pull these 2 frames, 2 frames to 19. See what that looks like. Right, okay, 2 to 19. So I'll do the same for each one. I'll do these 2 to 19. These 2 to 19. This 2 to 19. Just feeling a little bit fast. Now, because it's 19, that means I have to shift these up by. I have to shift these up by 1 as well. On the. Sorry, not this one. I have to shift. Yeah, I have to shift this up by these frames up as well, just by 1. On these feet, because what I've done is I've increased the length of the cycle just slightly, so it means the midpoint is now going to be 10 for these feet. So I think that looks a bit better. Yeah, okay, something like that. Yeah, so that'll do. Okay, so I was just checking, when I extended the cycle of the legs by a couple of frames to make it longer. I just went and had a look at it just to make sure that actually the easiest thing to do, rather than try to pull the points around, is simply just to cut and paste the animation again. Just delete it off these 3 feet and just select it here, 1 to 19, copy, paste it onto this foot. Go to frame 1, these 2 are the same, paste it, and then go to frame 10, which will be the midpoint, and paste it onto this one, and paste it on this one. It's probably a lot easier than trying just to pull points, because sometimes you might make a mistake. So anyway, so I've got the legs moving. What I'm going to do next is I'm just going to paste these legs onto the other side. It was very simple. So again, I go to frame 10, which is the midpoint. Remember that the two front feet are going to be half a cycle behind. So if this is 19 frames, half a cycle is 10 frames behind. So I go to frame 10. I'm just going to paste this here like so, and make sure it's looping forwards and backwards using these buttons, kind of shortcut buttons. So I've got that, and then I'm going to do the same on this one. This is going to be at the same point, 10 frames behind. It's going to be half a cycle behind the opposing foot. This one starts on 1, so this one will also start on 10. So I'll paste that. So essentially it's a mirror of these feet. It's going in the opposite direction, if you like. Yeah, it's a mirror of these feet. And then I'm going to take this foot, and it will be starting on 1. And I'll make sure that's looping. And this foot will also be starting on 1. So they are working exactly the flip order of the other feet. So they are going like this. Yeah. If you look at it from above, the two front feet do the opposite things, the two middle feet do the opposite things, etc., etc. Okay, and I'm just gonna I'll pull this foot in a bit. It's too far out. You can do the same thing again. I'm going to my you can see if I look at it, it's too far out in these feet are too far out in the X, so I'm just going to pull them in a bit using this. Pull that in so it's further in. And this foot too is too far out in the X translation, so I'm going to pull this in as well. Get that nice arch in the feet. In terms of the actual the leg, I might lift these up a bit. These, let's get more of a kind of arch in the upper. You have that kind of real spidery look where the legs arch upwards. So I'm going to pull